Do not move to Dallas, Texas. Don't you do it. Why, you may ask? Well, I'm gonna tell you. In fact, I'm gonna give you the top 5 reasons why you should not move to Dallas, Texas and move to Frisco, Texas instead. Come on. What's up, my guy? John O here with the Selling North Dallas Real Estate team. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, like all the videos, send your money. Just kidding, don't send your money. Today, we're gonna break down the top 5 reasons why you should not move to Dallas, Texas, but instead move to Frisco, Texas. The number 5 reason is real estate. It's a real estate channel. So I did a little digging for you. You could pull this stuff up, but you would much rather listen to the sound
of my melodious voice
as I break this stuff down. So let's jump on the computer here. According to the good people at Redfin, these are 2022 numbers. The median sales price in Dallas, Texas is $399,500. So what's that home look like? Well, I've jumped into Zillow. Now I've had people ask, why don't you show us what's in the MLS? Well, there's a couple of reasons. The MLS is protected. It's specifically for real estate agents unless we set up a portal. The reason I use Zillow is I want you to have ready access to the stuff that I'm using so you can see the data that I'm using. If you want to see exactly what's in the MLS, call me. We can talk about what that process looks like. But for today, we're trying to move quick. Dallas, Texas, let's put some parameters on this dude. So the median home price is $399, so I'm gonna do $375 to $400. And let's just do 3 bedroom, 2 bath. All right, so this one right here on Alabama Avenue is a new construction. And I've gone ahead and pulled that up on the map. So let's look at this on the map first. So this is on the south end of Dallas, right down from the Dallas Zoo. And let's look at the neighborhood first. Okay, so this is the median home price in Dallas. Now, in fairness, this is a brand new construction. It looks like they tore this house down, or maybe it's in this lot. But, you know, this is a quick gander at the neighborhood.
Let me just give this a quick gander.
So you can live next door to this guy who's storing windows on the side of his house. Let's just drive down the street here. Oh, look, there's a car wash right down the street. And they do have a mechanic on duty, whatever that's worth. All right, so let's look at the pictures. This is a really cute house. There's a shot of the backyard. That's cool, little accent wall. Okay, so, you know, this is a cute house. 3 bedroom, 2 bath. What was it, 1,800 square feet? Oh, there's that Blazer. Oh, there it is. Maybe the Blazer doesn't move. All right, okay, John-O, you're kind of being a jerk. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm trying to be educational. This is the median home price at random. We just picked a house in Dallas. Okay, well, the median home price in Frisco, according to Redfin, 2022 numbers, $646,500. All right, so what does that get you? So I hopped over here, Frisco, Texas, homes for sale. The median price was $646,500, so I did a search between $625,000 and $650,000, kept it 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and just clicked on the first one on the list. This one is on Burnt Prairie Lane, Panther Creek, and Coit. So this is the tollway, this is Preston Road. So you're in Frisco on the east side. So the other one had a couple of car washes, actually. Yeah, the car wash down the street. You had Pepe's Car Wash. You got Chief Radiator Service. This is back to Dallas. Oh, look here, Beckley Center Park. And you're right here off of the Interstate 35 on the south end of Dallas. Back to Frisco. All right, so we've got El Dorado and PGA. So this dude is right here. Now it does back to Panther Creek, so it's not like I'm cherry picking for the dopest house in Frisco at $650. Let's take a look at the pictures. What year is this built? So the other one was a brand new house. This one was built in, here we go, built in 2016. So what's that, 7 years old? 6 years old. 3 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2,800 square feet. Now, in fairness, not exactly apples to apples. 2016 build. I would say this is what you would expect to see in a house in Frisco, Texas. Very cute. Like that kitchen. Oh, I love the darker cabinets, man. I think darker cabinets, they're coming back. They're coming for you.
They're coming for us.
I think people just got sick of all the white. All right, so does this have a pool? This does not have a pool. Let's look at the backyard. Oh, you get a pool. And I just shot a video near one of my favorite golf courses, the Trails of Frisco. I'll put a link to the video right here. I talk about this in the video. This particular house we're looking at right now has this feature, and in the video that I just referenced, it does not, but I talk about adding it, and it's this guy right here. When you have a rear entry garage, most of the time there's a fence here so that the driveway is not included in the backyard. But look at how much bigger the space feels when you enclose that, and then you just roll up or roll down the alley, hit the button, there's a gate that opens up. That's the universal symbol for the gate opens up, and you pull inside. So if you have little kiddos, or you want to keep them contained, or you just want the backyard to feel bigger, this is a great way to do that and have your parking contained inside. Now we're going to get to crime a little bit later in this video, but for now, good looking pool, straight line. Could have done a little better job with the edging. Here's another shot of the gate. I know what you're thinking. Jono, you're not exactly being fair comparing a $400,000 house in Dallas with a $650,000 house in Frisco. That makes complete logical sense. You may be asking why I connected with you telepathically through the camera. We'll do a video on that later. I would ask that question, right? So let's do that. Let's just jump into, so this can be my Frisco and this could be my Dallas. So let's see what kind of house you get in Dallas for $625,000 so that we really round this sucker out. Sorry, $650,000. So Dallas, let's go $625,000 to $650,000. So this is in Mansfield, South Dallas. Here's a $625,000. Now, why would somebody spend virtually the same price on a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 3,200 square feet versus a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,900 square feet? In a word, location. This is a much more desirable location in my humble opinion. This house was built probably in the 70s. Looks like it's been painted. This is actually really cute. Lots of whites, lots of grays, lots of guitars, Cadillacs. Hillbilly music. Dwight Yoakam? No? All right. Just like with any metro area, you can get a wide swath of options at different price points. So there it is, real estate. So let's keep moving. All right, number 4, safety. Now, there's a saying, if you assault data enough, it will confess to anything. We've said that quite a bit on the channel, but let's just try to let the data speak for itself. So I've jumped over here to the good folks at neighborhoodscout.com. I'll put a link down in the description for both the Dallas crime link as well as the Frisco crime link. But once you go to the site and you click on crime, it lists some of the safest Dallas neighborhoods over here to the right, but I want to scroll down a bit to the crime index. 100 is the safest, and Dallas has a crime index of 5. So it's safer than 5% of US cities. Number of crimes, 11,534 violent crimes in Dallas. Now, Dallas covers a lot of real estate, and we'll get into this, but let's let the numbers speak for themselves, okay? If you scroll down a little bit further, my chances of becoming a victim of violent crime in Dallas, and these are 2022 numbers, 1 in 113. So take your family for a walk in Dallas, right? Put the kiddies in the stroller and just go for a walk in Dallas versus go for a walk in Frisco. Now, we're covering the 5 reasons why you should not move to Dallas, but you should move to Frisco. I'm not trying to be biased. I'm really trying to let the numbers speak for themselves. Okay, so if we jump over to Frisco, Frisco has a crime index of 52. Again, 100 is the safest. So Frisco is safer than 52% of US cities. Now, there are parts of Dallas you don't want to be caught in at night. I would submit to you there's parts of Frisco that it wouldn't be smart to be in at night, right? So this is a sweeping generalization, but wholesale, I think if you look at the data that's being presented, Frisco is just a safer city. Your chances of being involved in a violent crime in Frisco, 1 in 1,090, versus in Dallas, 1 in 113. Safety. All right, so the number 3 reason why you should move to Dallas, you should move to Frisco instead, the school system. Now, we're gonna start with Dallas. I did a search for Dallas, Texas on greatschools.org, and this is what I see. 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. If I do a search for Frisco, 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10. So if you just stop there, oh, Dallas has better schools. Well, let's look at the schools that they're comparing. Irma Lerma Rangel Young Women's Leadership School. I'm butchering that name. I'm sure I am. Look at the trend here. Early College High School. Trinidad Garza Early College High School. I've clicked on the high school button, by the way. School of Business and Management, School of Health Professionals, School of Science and Engineering, Judge Barefoot Center's Law Magnet School. All of these are 10 out of 10 schools. Guess what? They're not public schools. They're not part of DISD. School of the Talented and Gifted. A lot of these are private schools, magnet schools. In fact, it's not until you scroll down. Highland Park High School is the first school listed. Let's jump into this real quick. Now, if you're from Dallas, Highland Park is a very exclusive part of Dallas. Very nice, very affluent. In fact, if you're not from this area and you're gonna take a trip to Dallas, I would highly recommend driving through Highland Park. It's gorgeous. It's just fun to just drive around and look at the outsides of these houses. Okay, here we go. It was taking a minute for the screen to refresh.
I mean, it took forever.
20 minutes later. You're making me look bad, greatschools.org. There we go. Okay, Highland Park High School. Test scores above average, not surprising. Very affluent section of Dallas. Student progress, college readiness, all above average. There's a ton of data in here. If you really want to get into the minutia, I'll let you do that on your own. But Woodrow Wilson High School is the next DISD school that's listed, and it's a 5 out of 10. Public district. Oh, I stand corrected. This first one, Irma Lerma Rangel Young Women's Leadership School, is a public district school. Let's just jump in here to Irma Lerma. Irma Lerma. Can I go to this school if I'm not a girl? Okay, so it's not like a traditional ISD where if you live inside the boundaries, you get to go there. You've got to meet certain requirements. So, School of Business and Management says public district. Let's see. Marvin E. School of Business and Management. Apply online. Starting November 1st, you'll be required to upload the following documents to the application. Most recent report card. So again, there are requirements that you must meet in order to participate at this school. So DISD, but they're not just going to let anybody in. It looks like you've got to live within a certain boundary and do well on the interview and assessment. Let's try one more. Judge Barefoot Sanders. Quick links. Dallas ISD offers more unique programs and opportunities than any school or district in the city. This means your kid has options. Explore them all at Discover Dallas ISD. 20 minutes later. Dallas schools on the whole, according to this website, I did not attend Dallas schools. There are some very, very desirable schools in Dallas, like Lakewood, for example, has a tremendous elementary school that's very coveted, and it's very difficult to get into that neighborhood. So let's compare this with Frisco schools. So if we start at the very top, Wakeland High School, 9 out of 10, Heritage, 8 out of 10, Independence, Reedy, Centennial, where's Lone Star? Lone Star, 6 out of 10. So in a past life, worked with a lot of kids that went to Lone Star High School, and from what I can gather, it's a great high school. I'll let you dive into the details of the different data, but this is one of those scenarios where you've got to fall within the boundaries if you want your kid to go to that school, right? You gotta have a certain address. Or if you're a teacher and you teach in the district, you can pick and choose what school your kid goes to as a benefit of being an employee of the Frisco ISD. I would say, if given the choice of living in Dallas and my child attending a school in Dallas, or living in Frisco and my child attending a school in Frisco, hands down, I would choose Frisco because I'm more familiar with the communities in and around Frisco. It's a safer environment, according to the crime stats. I would have no problems throwing the kiddo into a wagon and dragging them through the streets of Frisco. I would have great reservation doing that in Dallas. Take that with a grain of salt. Hopefully this is helpful. Before we get to the top 2 reasons why you should scratch Dallas and put Frisco on the short list, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. Click the subscribe button and then turn on the notification bell. And also, if you appreciate content like this, hit the thumb. In the lower left-hand corner, you'll see a thumb. If you touch it, confetti will erupt. You'll instantly be accepted into your desired friend group. Things will start happening for you socially. None of that is true, but it's just fun to say, and I would greatly appreciate the like. So now let's dive into the last 2 reasons why you should be looking at Frisco and not Dallas. Traffic. All right, so I just went to Google and I typed in Dallas traffic map. Traffic does not have an E on the end of it. Trafice is something else. So you can click on this interactive map of Dallas, and I'm gonna zoom out. And right now, let's see, it's 2:09 in the PM, Central Standard Time. And you can see all this green. If you're gonna be driving in Dallas right now, it's a good time to be doing it. Although on 35, we got this section of road closure. Well, that's no good. So the service roads appear to be open, but that section of Interstate 35 look like they're road closure on ramp, but it looks like the traffic around that is moving pretty well. Just a cool interactive map that anytime you can jump in here and take a look at what traffic is doing. I would highly recommend this if you're outside of the area and you're looking at Dallas and you know that you're going to be going to work somewhere around 8 o'clock. What are the traffic patterns? What might you run into? Whereas if you look up here in Frisco, it looks like they've got a closure on the Dallas North Tollway. Oh, there's a crash. So I've said this before on the channel, I use the GPS on my phone if I'm going anywhere. Now, if I'm just running down the street to Kroger, I don't. But if I'm driving into Frisco from Prosper, I always use my map because crashes happen, right? The tollway in this section right here is 3 lanes going north and 3 lanes going south. The speed limit's 70 miles an hour, but everybody drives 90. Crashes happen, right? Accidents happen, and sure enough, I need to get down here to Legacy West, and it's backed up in this section. So I may decide, you know what, I'm going to take Preston Road so that I avoid this section here. Or Legacy, you get the point. Now, for the last reason that you should move to Frisco instead of Dallas, what do you do for fun? I would bet dollars to donuts, anything you can do in Dallas, you can do in Frisco. Let's say you want to go see the Mavs play, or the Stars, or you wanted to see a concert at AAC. AAC's in downtown Dallas. It's not in Frisco, but how many times a week are you going to do that? How many times a month are you going to go to the AAC? If you had season tickets for the Mavs, obviously you're going to be going down there a lot, but when you weigh everything else together, it probably makes more sense to drive. Or if you have season tickets, you probably have a car taking you down there rather than living down there, right? But if you look at what do you spend your free time doing? In a past life, I was big into CrossFit, right? So I would enjoy going and working out at other CrossFit gyms. There's actually more CrossFit gyms in Frisco than there are in Dallas, if you can believe that.
I don't know if I believe that.
But what do you like to do with your free time? If you like to hike or ride bikes around lakes, we have all of that in Frisco that we have in Dallas. And according to the crime stats, you have an infinitely lower chance, sorry, my pizza's backing up on me. I don't know why I told you that. What was I even talking about? Crime and pizza. You're gonna be better off, better served, you're gonna be safer riding your bicycle in Frisco than you are in Dallas, just from a crime perspective. If I call any one of my homies right now living in Frisco and said, where would you rather live, Frisco or Dallas? They would all say the exact same things that I did. Maybe that's birds of a feather. I don't hate Dallas, but if I don't have to go into Dallas, I don't. My spidey senses are on high alert when I go down there. I don't go by myself. I can handle myself, but I choose not to borrow trouble. So if I'm going to a game, I make sure I take somebody with me. I guess it depends on what season of life you're in. Ultimately, the point that I'm trying to get to here is what's important to you. I can tell you all day long what's important to me, but unless you're exactly like me,
I most certainly am not.
you know, there needs to be room for what's important to you. Now, in my opinion, Frisco has much more opportunities than Dallas does, but it's not about me. We got to do some deep dive into what's important to you, your family, the people involved in that decision, your finances, right? If you're thinking about moving to this area, hopefully this has been helpful. If you already live in Frisco or already live in Dallas, let me know down in the comments if you think I got it right or if you think I'm completely blown. The comment section's going bananas. We love it. Thank you for your participation. But I've been thinking a lot about Frisco lately and how I can break some of this stuff down for you. Frisco is one of those spots that you could spend all of your time on Main Street and not really miss out on much. There's just so much going on just on Main Street. Or El Dorado. I'll probably spend most of my time going up and down El Dorado or Preston Road. I think I want to say it like this. Dallas on the whole feels very spread out.
Does feel good on the whole.
And one of the things that I love about North Dallas, specifically Frisco, is it feels very self-contained. I can do my grocery shopping, I can go hit a bucket of balls, play around at golf, get 10 different flares of Mexican food, Asian, burgers, barbecue, all within a couple of miles of each other. There is the new National Soccer Hall of Fame sitting right in front of Toyota Stadium where FC Dallas plays. If you're not a soccer fan, FC Dallas is our professional men's soccer team. So we've got the Cowboys, obviously football, obviously Stars for hockey, the Mavs for basketball, the Rangers for baseball. FC Dallas is our football club, and that's what FC stands for. If you're a soccer player, you already know that.
But I already know that.
These apartments at Frisco Street and Main Street just went up probably in the last 6 months or so, maybe a year. It's very cool walking distance to downtown Frisco, which is this section that we're rolling into. So over here on the left, we've got the rail yard, which is different food trucks, live music. That's a good time. That's a good hangout time. Haystack. That's a great burger. If you find yourself down here, we'll do a deeper dive on Haystack at another time. All right, so this is downtown Frisco, and it's basically this one little street. A lot of development coming in. Summer Moon Coffee right here. Really great spot. Now, if you weren't looking for this place, you would miss it. Mariana's. The tacos are so good. What's up, guys? Look, it's JC Castaneda. CallMeJC.com. He is a connoisseur of tacos.
Connoisseur of tacos, yes.
Am I saying that right?
You are saying tacos. It's actually tacos, but tacos is good.
Like THACOS, tacos.
Tacos.
And tequila.
Tequila, yes.
All right, so where are we?
We are at Mariana's Taco Shop here on 5th Street in downtown Frisco. I searched high and low for tacos and came across this place, read the reviews, realized they were actually from San Diego County, Escondido to be exact. So I had to come and pay them a visit, and they are just like San Diego tacos.
Should we give it a shot?
let's give it a shot, of course.
What are you looking at, bro?
I am going to go with the hard shell tacos.
Oh, dang. Phone Z first, right?
There you go.
All right, so what do we got here?
We have green salsa and the red salsa, which is a traditional salsas that you know, most restaurants will bring out, green and red. I don't know how spicy they are, but we're gonna find out.
There you go. All right, so this is the drive-by of 5th Street Cafe. If you like to get down on some breakfast, right here, 5th Street Patio Cafe. It's so good. Waffles, pancakes, omelets, anything you can think of on the breakfast tip. You can get it in there. You guys are gonna think all I do is drive around and eat, and the occasional margarita, but that's okay. You ever go in here to Summer Moon?
I have been to Summer Moon, and great place, good coffee, games.
There's an escape room. All right, so I'm gonna take you guys the back way down a really cool street. I mentioned this earlier, if you're driving along and traffic is backed up on Preston going north and south, and it's backed up on the tollway, and or you're just looking for a change of scenery, 5th Street turns into Parkwood, and it's a really cool street. You'd never guess, like you'd think you were driving down Mayberry coming this back way, but you're right in the middle of Frisco. All the trees, so cool. This really is a pretty town, especially like right now. Leaves haven't quite started to turn, but here we are, Preston Road, and all the clams you can eat. A very cool spot is this place right here called Mashed. All right, so we're here at Mashed. This is David and Jay, one of David and Jay's concepts. Their deal is moonshine, so they will infuse moonshine with different liquors, and I don't know all the technology to it, but it's a really cool spot. They got a great patio, good for drinks. The food is amazing. I wouldn't quite call it gastro pub, but it's an upscale, nice, casual. You can either go casual, great for lunches, or it's great for a date night. All right, if you're looking for a mall in Frisco, Stonebriar is the one. They just put this Regency Hyatt in. Very nice.
Very nice.
I don't remember the last time I've been to the mall.
I do go to the mall on special occasions to get me a box of C's candy. That's the only place they sell.
C's candy? What is that?
They are chocolate clusters.
I feel like I'm missing out on C's candy. How do you
You
spell
are
that?
missing out. SEE''S. I C's candy.
I C's candy, and it's good.
It's very good.
Is it just clusters?
There's nuts and chews and all kinds of chocolate. They're caramel filled. They have all kinds of chocolate. That's like the only chocolate I will eat.
Really?
Yes.
On purpose?
On purpose. I've never had C's candy?
I haven't.
Oh, man.
But I'll eat chocolate accidentally. What about this place, this indoor skydiving? You ever done that, iFly?
I have not done that, but I want to. I hear it's a lot of fun. Good for corporate events, family outings.
All right, so this is the point in the video where I say, if you haven't liked the channel, take a second and like the video. That's the thumb in the lower left-hand corner. You just touch it. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell. That's all I have to say about that. Okay, so don't tell my boss. This next place is technically in Plano.
I'm telling.
But we're right here. It's right across the street. You're gonna love it. Just don't tell anybody. It's between us girls. All right, so we're on the back side of Granite Park, and this little boardwalk spot down through here, so cool, man. It's a little bright, middle of the day, so there's not much action going on, but you get out here in the evening, this is so cool. So Chip's Hamburgers, really good hamburger joint, and then you got Union Bear for something a little bit more kicked up. Fork and Fire, not been there yet. This is usually where we come, is to Union Bear. All right, so what do you think? Can you believe you're in the middle of Dallas? Well, I guess technically you're not in the middle of Dallas, you're in the middle of Frisco. Well, even more technically, you're not in Frisco, you're in Plano, but it's fine. So we're here at the Star in Frisco, one of the coolest spots. It's middle of the day, so there's, you know, it's kind of subdued right now. Oh man, there's just so much to look at. You've got D. Lincoln Prime Steakhouse.
Great steakhouse.
Very nice. They make a wonderful old-fashioned, get the Angel's Envy bourbon. What else? We've got Ascension Coffee.
Micocina coming up over here.
Got Micocina, or Mico for short. What do you think of the Mexican food at Micocina?
Micocina's Mexican food is good. It's a great place. It's a great vibe. They have a great margarita.
I love that you use the word vibe. Like the vibe down here, it's just different. It's not really Frisco, it's more upscale Dallas.
It's upscale Dallas for sure.
So everything at the Star is the Cowboys, including there's no freaking Coke because Jerry Jones has a wonderful contract with Pepsi. Not being a fan of Pepsi, I don't appreciate that, but Jerry didn't ask me. Jerry, if you're watching, let's get Dr. Pepper on tap. Diet Dr. Pepper specifically, because as I've said, you ain't no kind of man if you don't drink Diet Dr. Pepper.
Right.
You could probably come out here every night of the week and not eat at the same place twice. Probably every meal of the week and not eat at the same place twice.
And the vibe down here every day of the week is the same. It's vibrant, a lot of people, a lot of nice cars, a lot of people dressed up, ready to go out in the evenings. It's a fun place to be. The old Kirkendall Stadium, old Memorial Stadium, which is now Kirkendall Stadium, and then they also play at the FC Dallas Stadium, or also known as Toyota Stadium. But it's a lot of fun. The Ford Center, referred to as the Star, is a great place to watch high school football. Yeah, so again, this is the Ford Center, the Star. They have a massive screen there where they televise the Dallas Cowboys games, and people bring out their lawn chairs, watch the games on Sundays, and then obviously for community events they'll show movies. It just create a really good family environment.
Today we're breaking down the pros and cons of living in Frisco, Texas. If you're here, it probably means Frisco, Texas is on your radar. You're either outside of Texas or Dallas, the DFW Metroplex, or thinking about coming here, and you're just doing a little research to try to figure out maybe the best landing spot. The scope of this video is to help with that decision and share some things as someone who's grown up around here, what it's like living, working, playing in and around Frisco, Texas. I've said for years, we live in Frisco, Texas. We just sleep in Prosper. Our address is Prosper, Texas, but we probably spend more time collectively throughout the day in Frisco because it's awesome. It's baller. So hopefully you'll find this video educational, entertaining. Be sure to stick around until the end where I'm going to break down one of the properties that we just dispositioned from our portfolio, showing you real numbers of the money that we made and the opportunity that we had. But for now, let's just get started. Okay, you cannot have a video about Frisco, Texas and its pros and its cons without talking about the school system. Frisco ISD, arguably one of the greatest school systems in the country. There is so much going on. In fact, when Katie was still in education, she actually worked for Frisco ISD at the CTE Center, the Career and Technical Education Center. When I was in high school, we had home ec, where they taught you how to boil an egg or measure out flour, right? If you were in home ec, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I feel you, bro.
These guys, this is not home ec. This is like next level baller status. For example, Katie taught traditional French cuisine to high school students. Knife skills, showing them how to debone a pork shoulder. Colossal pain in the ass. But aside from having a complete commercial grade kitchen where they were teaching all of these things, they had a student run restaurant. So not only did you get access to the cooking side of it, but also how to run a small business and staffing it. You can actually go there now as a member of the community and have lunch at the student-run restaurant where the students are taking the orders and they're cooking the food and the chefs are there to oversee it, but it's a student-run restaurant. Who does that? You know, right now there's 12 high schools in the city of Frisco, so they'll bust these students in from all of the campuses. Rather than having a small kitchen at each high school, they have this massive center, and it's so cool. So down in the description, we'll put a link to the CTE Center. Some of the programs, let's check this out. The CTE prepares students for success in futures they create. Health science clinical students learn and engage in patient care skills at area clinical sites. Students are preparing for the certified nurse aide exam they will take in December. Frisco ISD Tech. Student awareness must protect your password. Hotel management. Hotel management students recently visited 2 local hotels to gain insight on hotel operations as they learn about each department in class. So we've got a student-run restaurant, we've got health science clinical students, hotel management. What else we got in here? I think this is what I was looking for. These are the courses that they offer through this CTE program. Agricultural, food and natural resources, arts, AV, technology and communications, information technology, Cisco video, computer science, video game design, right? Not just the cursory, here's a computer, here's where the LRB is, little red button for all my IT guys. Here's where the any key is. Like, this is a deep dive into the IT segments that they offer. Architecture and construction, government and public administration, law, public safety, corrections and security, education and training, health science, marketing, business management and administration, finance, hospitality and tourism, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. What a cool deal, right? And this is just the Frisco CTE Center. Now, that's not the scope of this video, but the Frisco ISD offers so many programs. There's a reason people move from all over the country for their kids to participate in these schools. I went to high school in Western Kentucky. I've said many times on this channel, I'm lucky I know how to count to 10 without taking my shoes and socks off, much less having business management and administration, not through a normal high school class, but where you're shipped to a separate campus that's specifically designed for this curriculum. I just think that's dope. And that's just on the education side. Arguably, there's nowhere better in the country to raise an athlete than Frisco, Texas. There's literally everything you can imagine from a sports perspective. When I went to high school, we had football, baseball, basketball, soccer. There was a golf team. These guys have water polo, fencing, wrestling, lacrosse, field hockey, like over the top offerings. That's great. Now, those are not all UIL programs. Some of them are club sports, but you get the idea. And that's just through the schools. So that's obviously a pro. Leading directly into this next one would be the people. People out here are just nice, especially if you're coming from the East Coast or the West Coast. Heard somebody say the other day, they were talking about the differences between East Coast and West Coast, and they mentioned on the West Coast, they're nice but not helpful. And on the East Coast, they're helpful but not nice. If you had a flat tire in California, somebody might say to you, oh man, that really sucks, but they don't offer a hand. Whereas on the East Coast, they're treating you like an idiot for even having a flat tire, but they'll go way out of their way to help you change it. Here in Texas, It's kind of the best of both worlds. People hold the doors for you. Southern hospitality, it's just expected that you're polite and have manners. In fact, it's almost weird when people don't have manners, right? That's unusual rather than it being unusual that people are just friendly. Anyway, you'll see what I'm talking about. The people are baller. Next point. So this one is on the cons side of the house, and it's the cost of living. So I did a quick search on the MLS for closed properties over the last 90 days in Frisco ISD. I specifically did Frisco ISD rather than Frisco address. The median home price in Frisco, according to the multiple listing service over the last 90 days, this is closed data listed on the MLS, $593,150. That's the median price. Whereas, say, in Dallas, the median home price over the last 90 days is $370,000. If you click this link right here, I just did a breakdown of the top 5 reasons why you should consider moving to Frisco instead of Dallas. So if you want to check that out and then come back to this video, I do a deeper dive on that. Hopefully that's helpful. Next pro that I want to mention about Frisco, Texas is it's practically brand new, especially if you spend a little bit of time in the city to the south, which is Plano. Plano is more established. Sometimes people call it Plano. Idiots! But it's pronounced Plano. It's more established. You drive through some of the neighborhoods, the trees are bigger, the homes are older, whereas Frisco, it feels brand new. It feels clean, right? The infrastructure, the streets, globally speaking, they just have a newer, cleaner feel than Frisco, Allen, McKinney. There are older parts of Frisco. You can find homes in the 40s and 50s in Frisco, but by and large, those are the outliers. The garden variety, not only commercial, but also residential around Frisco is newer. Now, some could argue there's a con because like you drive through some of these neighborhoods, all the trees are tiny. It's because they just got planted in the last 10 years, right? So holistically, the city just feels newer and cleaner than some of its neighbors. Just saying. Okay, next con on the list, co-serve. Texas is deregulated from an electricity perspective, but there are parts of Frisco that you can either use co-serve or you can use another electricity provider. The electricity is all coming through the same lines, the same infrastructure, but who you pay your bill to and the cost for that electricity varies depending upon the provider. And if you have a certain address, you don't get a choice. You're using co-serve as an electric provider. So down in the description, I'll include a link that shows their interactive map. In fact, I've got it pulled up here. If you pull this up in the top right-hand corner, that's where the legend is. And it shows this dark green is co-serve only. So something to consider if you really care about that. There are several businesses that are electric providers, and the people that work for those providers feel very strongly about using their company for their electricity. So you want to know that. If that's going to be a deal killer for you, you're going to want to know that before you go shopping for houses. You're welcome. All right, so is this helpful? We're about halfway through the video. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. I'll give you a chance to do that now. Be sure to turn on the notification bell. And to reward you for subscribing to the channel, here's a video of me getting out of my pool naked. You're welcome. All right, next up on the pros list, roads and infrastructure. This would be a good time to talk about traffic. So down in the description, I'll include a link to this map. This is all of Dallas and Fort Worth, and this section up here is Frisco. So it covers a good bit of real estate, but as we zoom in, the southern border of Frisco is this road right here. This is the Sam Rayburn Tollway. The locals usually refer to it as 121, which is technically the service road. Way back in the day, 121 was all stoplights, and now it's a toll road. But if somebody says SRT, that's what they're talking about. So the southern border is the Sam Rayburn Tollway. To the east, I believe that's Custer Road. This up here is El Dorado Parkway. No, Panther Creek. Panther Creek. up here, and then there's parts of it that touch up to 380. But this right here is Panther Creek, and then 423 is parts of it, and then it cuts in here. I think that's Teal. It doesn't matter. We won't include that part. So depending upon where you are, if you're close to Hackberry, Little Elm on that southern edge, or on this northern end, you know, the line can be a little confusing. But let's look at traffic. So this is the traffic right now. It's 2:18 Central Standard Time, and this is the traffic in Frisco. So right here, they're doing some work on the north end of the tollway. The Dallas North Tollway is this main road right here that takes you all the way into downtown. But parts of Preston for the most part is a 6-lane road. And if I'm going into Frisco from Prosper, I usually take Preston. If I'm going into Dallas, or if I'm, you know, going to another, you know, maybe the south end of Frisco, I'll take the tollway. But 289 or Preston Road is the more prominent artery for most folks. If you're gonna be driving in the mornings, I would totally bookmark this link and just check the traffic whenever you're gonna be driving in. It really feels like it's all Dallas. You really can't tell when you're leaving one and going to the next, except for things like roads and infrastructure. When you start getting into some of these older cities like Plano, or like into parts of Dallas, they're like driving on the surface of the moon. It's terrible. The potholes.
Oh man, swerve them potholes.
You don't really see that in Frisco. Right? The infrastructure, it's really great, especially considering the massive growth Frisco's experienced over the last 2 decades. Frisco, planning, you did a great job. Some would argue against that. Depending upon where you're going to at the time of day, there is some congestion, but it's a very popular place to live. One of the other good things about it is, because of the where Lake Louisville is, there's not a lot of bridges and water that you have to deal with. Whereas if you say lived in Rockwall, right, or Rowlett, like you're mainly having, you've got these 2 main options. Unless you're going around the lake, you're going over a bridge. Hopefully that's helpful. This is probably my biggest pet peeve about Frisco is the freaking drivers. Now, I'm not gonna get too excited. I'm not gonna use the F word here. You know what? I might use the F word. Just distracted drivers, and this is a big part of just the culture that we live in right now. People are distracted. They've got their damn phone in their hand. They're checking out TikToks and doing dances, and you see this driving up the road. Everybody's buried in their phone, so you really got to watch out for other people. And my daddy used to say, "You can be dead right. If you're stopped at a stoplight and you're the first car and the light turns green, do not press on the gas pedal without checking to your left and your right and the left again." People habitually run red lights here, and you'll get run over and you'll be dead, and it'll be their fault, but you'll be dead and I'll be sad. Keep your head on a swivel. Situational awareness, we're all about it. Drivers, you just got to watch out for them. Driving in the left lane, driving the speed limit in the left lane. The left lane is for passing. The left lane is for passing. Well, Jono, I'm about to turn left. Don't turn left, ever. I'm kidding. If you're turning left, of course. But here's a pro tip. Drive in the center lane. And don't get in a hurry. Don't worry about passing the guy in front of you. Just find you a nice audible, something relaxing or educational to listen to, and just follow the guy in front of you. The people switching lanes and driving like maniacs,
Hey, slow down!
usually that's the cause of car wrecks. I have no data to back that up other than just anecdotal experience. Don't get in a hurry, and use your turn signal. You're gonna be fine. Most people don't use their turn signal, which is why drivers made the list. Okay, I'm sorry. I got through that whole segment without using the F word. Good job, Jono. Okay, massive pro, the attractions. There's so much to do, whether it's going to the Star, going out to eat, finding a patio somewhere and just hanging out, the golf courses, the shopping, upscale and otherwise. There's just a ton of attractions around here. In Frisco, you got Toyota Stadium, Tollway at Main Street. There's concerts. FC Dallas plays there. There's some really cool stuff. Just south of Toyota Stadium is the Square. Now, I would say most of the square is newer construction. It's got a really cool feel, the lights, especially at Christmas time. You can drive through there and you turn your radio to a certain station and the lights are in time with the music on the radio station, which is kind of cool. But there's just great restaurants and people watching down there. The library's down there. Nerdvana is a really cool hangout spot where you can go and sit at a bar and have a drink and play video games, play board games. There's just some cool stuff to do down there that is pretty inexpensive to do. So if you're bored, downtown, it's not really downtown. Downtown Frisco is just to the east, down Main Street, and there's a few shops down there right where it says Summer Moon, Fifth Street Cafe. Fifth Street Cafe is right around in here somewhere. Good breakfast, jammy. It's not on here. Fifth Street Cafe, add your damn website to Google My Business, pretty please, so I don't look like a nitwit.
Watch it, nitwit.
I'm gonna look like a nitwit anyway, let's be honest. Okay, so that's downtown Frisco, but the square is kind of a cool little spot. Frisco Square, there it is. In fact, in the wintertime, they'll have an outdoor ice skating rink down here, right behind, oh, there's Nerdvana. What is it? It's the Firehouse Subs. This right here ends up being a skating rink. Frisco feels completely different than the neighboring city to the south, Plano. If you drive to Grapevine, it feels completely different. You go to Fort Worth, it's completely different. Downtown Dallas, completely different. Arlington, Irving, all of these cities almost feel like little cities themselves. But just the demographic, the stuff to do, like there's so much going on, but it's not all the same stuff no matter where you go. There really is a great variety. This is a video about Frisco, but that felt important to say. So this next one, there's good and bad with it. That would be the growth of Frisco. Actually, let me pull up the economic development website. So I'll put a link to this site down in the description as well. On the Frisco Economic Development website, in Frisco, one of the fastest growing cities in Texas and the US, the city's ongoing success has driven the dramatic increase in its modern diverse population, skyrocketing more than 500% in just 2 decades. Like, it feels like the land of opportunity out here. There are so many networking groups. As an entrepreneur, I love that. Birds of a feather flock together, and I love being around other entrepreneurs that just get how my mind works.
I know the way his mind works.
And there's a ton of business around here. DFW on the whole is the home to a lot of corporate headquarters. Neiman Marcus is here, AT&T, 7-Eleven's out here, Toyota, Pepsi, Frito-Lay. There's a lot happening out here, but that's just on the major company side. Microsoft has offices here. There's just a lot going on. Now those are not in Frisco. Those are the DFW metro area. But a lot of those folks have, there's a lot of white collar opportunity, and most of those people, I would submit to you, live in the suburbs, and Frisco being one of the more popular suburbs for all of the reasons that we've already mentioned. That's really exciting. And there's even more people still coming. The inbound migration from states like California, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Arizona. There's a lot of people that are coming to Dallas, and we still have a supply and demand problem, right? The market has softened. There's a ton of inventory now, especially compared to what was available, you know, when things were crazy post-COVID. We're still in a seller's market. There's more people buying than there are houses to buy. Like, that's data. That's undisputed. That's good, right? Well, depending upon your perspective, more people coming to the area, that's a strain on resources and infrastructure, and that's more traffic, and that's more boneheads driving in the left lane.
Oh man, swerve them potholes.
So good and bad, I think you see the point. So the last thing that I want to cover, I tease a little bit about this at the beginning of the video. The greatest pro I can see to living in Frisco would be the real estate. So I want to give you a specific example. We bought a property that we intended to hold as a rental. It's called rental properties, hold properties. Single family residence that we bought in Frisco in 2017, paid $220,000 for it. And over the next 5 years, somebody else paid the mortgage. In fact, they overpaid the mortgage. So we had a surplus, or what's known as cash flow, the difference between our expenses, our money out, and the money coming in is cash flow. And in this case, we were cash flowing at the end about $500 per month. It was a little higher in the beginning, but as the tax bases went up, that ate into some of the cash flow. Suffice to say, somebody paid the mortgage for 5 years. We had a great tenant and put an additional, let's just call it $500 a month into our pocket. So deferred maintenance was covered. So when something would tear up, we would just take it out of the checking account that property funded. We bought it for $220 in 2017. We sold it. In fact, we closed July 19th of this year, 2022. We sold it for $385,000, $385,900 to be exact. That's a gross profit of $165,900. And if you spread that across 5 years, that's like saying $33,180 per year. So, not to be assumptive, but if you had an extra $33,000 a year coming in, what would you do with the income? It's such a desirable area. There's so much growth, the supply and demand issue aside, and there's some crazy things coming after the first of the year that we'll talk about in another video. The opportunity for real estate is still phenomenal, even after factoring in what interest rates are doing right now. As you can probably tell, I'm a massive Frisco, Texas fan. If you click right here, there's a playlist that we've curated on the channel specifically geared towards Frisco, Texas, including properties that we've toured, and there's a wide whack of options in there. Take some time, check out that playlist. I think you'll appreciate what you find. And now for a special announcement from my good friend Ice Cube.
Bye, Felicia.